And whatever you do, whatever comes out of that doing is an Ishmael. And this Ishmael is versus Isaac. You all know who is Isaac. Isaac was a type of Christ. And this is the flesh result versus Christ. God's intention is altogether to work Christ into us. But now we have the flesh to work out something versus Christ. Ishmael is the result, the issue of the flesh versus Isaac. We do have the flesh, and whenever we exercise our flesh, we produce Ishmael. And this Ishmael is all the time versus Christ. Flesh puts us away from the grace. Flesh all the time keeps us apart from Christ. You know, this is why in John 15 the Lord says, apart from me you can do nothing. But many of us can testify, apart from Christ we did a lot of things. Not only we could do things, we did a lot of things. And we did a lot of good things. Apart from Christ we did a lot of good things. I tell you, all those good things were just Ishmaels versus Christ. And this is why in many of us, very little fulfillment of God's eternal purpose. Why? Because we always do things by exercising our flesh, not by trusting in God, not by depending upon Christ, not by being one in the Spirit with Christ. We just do things apart from Christ. You consider. And we all have to realize, if we do something sinful, we will condemn it. But when we do something good, something spiritual, we will not condemn. In your life, this Ishmael is versus Christ, frustrating you to enjoy the grace of God for the fulfillment of God's eternal purpose. Man's flesh versus God's grace. Man's doing against frustrating God's eternal purpose. This is not a small thing. I tell the whole world, including the Christians, this principle is prevailing. Even among us, you have to realize, to some extent, this principle is still prevailing. Still prevailing. We still have a lot of flesh. And this means quite often we do things by the exercise our flesh. You may say, brother, I never exercise my flesh. I never. I agree with you, never. But you never depend upon the Lord either. You see the point? As long as you don't depend upon the Lord, what does that mean? That means you are exercising your flesh. You don't need to exercise it as long as you don't trust in the Lord. Good enough. Good enough. You are exercising your flesh. Now, I hope tonight you could get this definition and to know what is flesh. This is why many times we have learned the lesson not to do anything. Not to do anything. Why? Because we are not ready. We are not ready to put our flesh aside. We are just in our flesh. We dare not to do anything. Whatever we do, by that time, that is the exercise of flesh. And sometimes, let me tell you, when I was with your brother, I was just unable to say anything. You say, why? Why? Because by that time, I realized my flesh was very strong. I dare not to do anything. I dare not to say anything. If I say anything, no doubt, that thing will just be out of my flesh. So the best way is not to do anything, not to say anything. Of course, comparatively speaking, this is not the best way. The best way is to say something by the Spirit. But during that time, I was weak. I was full of flesh. What should I do? Better not do anything. Better not do anything. Sorry. I have no other way. Sorry. You know what? After you left, I just said, Lord, forgive me, Lord. I can do nothing. I can do nothing because I was full of flesh. And I dare not to produce an Ishmael. So I dare not to say anything. I dare not to do anything. Now you understand what is flesh, right? Flesh is just something versus grace. And grace is just God Himself to be everything to us and to do everything for us. This is grace. Flesh is just something versus grace.